do it right after eating, so you stay awake, because inevitably that post-eating low, which everyone gets, will pass after a while. Welcome back to another riveting episode of Circee Health Pod. Today, apropos to the time of year, we've decided to give you 20 plus tips. I'm sure we will ramble and give you more, even though you may not ask for it, about how to stay healthy during the festival season, during the festive season. Festive season has already arrived, and you might be feeling a little heavy with all the goodies, so we'll... Already?
We are.
Perhaps myself included. Anyway, so we'll give you some tips to help rival that. And just wanted to remind you that our goal in these podcasts is to educate and empower you so that you can prevent and or bid farewell to chronic health issues permanently. I'm Dr. Ajoy Prabhu. I'm a double-boarded MD doctor in both internal medicine, which is the study and treatment of complex diseases in adult patients, as well as a pediatrician.
I am Ajoy Prabhu. I am a research pathologist, which basically in layman's terms means that I have researched true causes of diseases, and I'll leave it like at that, because I think there's much to be talked about today. So let's jump.
Let's get the party started, since it's the festival season.
That's right. Okay. So we always talk about, we ate a lot after the fact, right? Not before one of these festivities start. Now we have Ganesh Chaturthi coming up. We have Bhau Beej. Soon there'll be Dussehra, and I know that I'm probably skipping some in the middle. And then Diwali and Christmas and New Year. So we have an endless stream of festivities. So we always, at least it happens to us, right? I mean, after the festivities, I'm like, oh my God, we shouldn't have done this. We shouldn't have.
A feeling of guilt.
Yeah. So instead of we shouldn't have, we figured might as well just tackle it ahead of time and like talk about it beforehand, so that you get an idea about what to expect and how you can kind of like meander around and kind of circumnavigate some of these issues that we might talk about. So what
wait before we start, let me do my little doctor tip.
Yes,
please check with your own doctor before embarking on any of these, especially diet and exercise related tips or advice, just to make sure that your personal health is compatible with them.
Yeah. Let's start talking about, festivities usually involve eating, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before we talk about eating, maybe we should talk about kind of building up some kind of a disciplinary system within ourselves to say, okay, well, we should do this, we should not do this. And one of the first things that comes to my mind is not eating.
Right.
So since you are the resident expert on fasting, since you fast 20 plus hours a day, maybe you can, I know you're hungry, right?
I am. I've got 45 minutes to go. So, yeah, I mean, not ironically, maybe our ancestors knew about this. So if you think about it, festive season often involves fasting, like Ramadan involves fasting, of course. Karva Chauth involves fasting. If I harken back to my Jewish roots, Yom Kippur, which is coming up soon, also involves fasting.
And in your Christian
roots, Lent, which is in the springtime, which is Easter. So lots of across all religions, because our ancestors knew what they were doing. They're like, well, if I'm going to celebrate, maybe I should either recover or prepare my body for a lot of food by letting it kind of heal itself while waiting for that feast. So if you want to learn more about fasting, please tune into some of our other podcasts and videos. But if this is an area you've decided you want to try out, this might be a good time of year to try it. Of course, always gradually increase your fasting time and fasting substance. Like you may not want to go just to a water fast, maybe to a fruit and juice fast first, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're going to be indulging in festive food and drink, then fasting is probably a good thing to complement that.
Yeah. But I do want to step back a little bit and say that it's best if we start these things. I know you kind of mentioned it. start these things way before some of the festivities and all begin, because you want to get into some kind of a routine. So if you want to try to fast, let's say you want to try to say before the end of August, you want to do 16 hours. Build yourself to 16 hours so that by the time some of the other festivities come along, you are already in a routine of doing 16 hours. Otherwise, you'll be like, oh, well, I'll fast later.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we always say setting a date for something makes it more, the human psyche is more apt to do something if there is actually a date set for it. So, yeah.
So, what if people don't want to fast? I mean, maybe they can just think in terms of disciplining themselves, like having a self-discipline and saying, well,
eat a smaller quantity. Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about this later on in this podcast, or perhaps the second half. But if you cannot fast for some reason or don't feel comfortable fasting, then just eat smaller meals throughout the day. And some people like to keep track of what they eat, whether it's on an app or a good old piece of paper and pen or on the refrigerator, something like that. That might help hold yourself accountable by saying, okay, I had 1 katori of peanuts, and I also had, 2 cups of fruit, but it's afternoon, so I'm not going to have a whole bunch of fruit in the night. Tomorrow, maybe I'll start my fruit intake earlier, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. And in the same vein, what ends up happening in festivals, or especially when you're having it at home, is the tendency to say, my friends are here, my family is here, and let's just take it easy. And, if you normally would have gone for a walk, you probably would try to avoid it, and so on. And, there is a tip on that, right? I mean, we were thinking you could potentially just invite everybody to go for a walk, or
include your family. So make it a group event, make it a festive walk. Maybe you can wear festive clothing and sing festive songs on your walk.
Make it a fun thing, and then it's you will not you will look forward to it, actually.
Right, and it doesn't even have to be a walk. You can do a family game of football or a family game, maybe not of carom, because that doesn't involve much, but a family game of badminton or something that involves cardio activity.
When you are at let's say you're at somebody's house, or just about getting ready to go to somebody's house, or somebody's coming over, and you cooked a fantastic meal, and you have like 15 dishes there in front of you. Can we talk about some things that you can do to kind of like prepare yourself to not eat a lot?
Yeah, if you're going out to a restaurant, or to, like you said, to a family member's house, or at some kind of event, you can kind of. So in America, we use the word pregame, which is used certainly in a different context. But in our context, in our context, I will say pregame by filling yourself up with food and or water, obviously of the healthy kind. So you can control what you eat before you go. So if you, for example, have something that's high in fiber and protein, like nuts is a great example, or obviously vegetables, dal, something like that you like and that's healthy. So when you go there, yes, you can still have the festival food, but it'll be in a smaller quantity, or you might not want it at all because you're full. So that's one way to prepare yourself.
I mean, eat smaller quantities. It'll encourage you to eat smaller quantities. So water, fruit, nuts, vegetables, dals, anything that fills you up, right?
And other plant-based proteins. Tofu, tempeh.
Or
soya
snacks,
chop.
Right? I mean, they can have snacks, right?
Chana, roasted chana.
What about foods that, I mean, maybe before you even see some of the foods, one thought I had was that they could think in terms of, or they meaning us also, think in terms of, I know I love jalebi, for example, me. I love jalebi, and somebody puts jalebi in front of me versus a Mysore pak. I'll say, well, okay,
Well, you don't like Mysore pak.
Okay, fine, that's a bad one.
Gulab jamun.
Okay, gulab jamun. So I'll say, okay, between jalebi and gulab jamun, I like jalebi more, so I will skip the gulab jamun and have fewer jalebis, and that'll be it. So that's my own way of like self-disciplining and saying, this is enough, because jalebis ain't going anywhere. I mean, next day there'll be more jalebis. So it's not like this is the
Yeah, it's
end
a
of the
good rule of
jalebi world.
thumb. It can be like your favorite food has to earn a place in
Ah,
your digestive tract. Like
yeah,
it has to win. So your absolute favorite, if you know it's going to be there, that can be worthy of your calorie intake.
yeah,
But maybe other ones that you like, but they're all right.
yeah.
Why should you waste those
I was trying to
calories?
cheat by saying Mysore Pak.
Yeah, you were. Not fair. I know you don't like it. I do, but anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just try to avoid, you know, have the top rated ones that you know that you rate the
Yeah, and that
highest.
kind of leads us to our next tip, which is don't completely deprive yourself.
Yeah.
Don't sit alone, in a corner at a party and not eat anything and say, "Oh, woe is me. I'm on a diet and I'm not going to
Yeah,
eat
yeah. I don't
anything." That's because inevitably you might make it through that party, but the next party you'll be like, "Oh,
forget it.
forget it. I'm
Yeah,
just going to eat everything."
yeah.
So that is one option. Also, we want you to be social and happy.
Happy.
If you sit in a corner looking depressed, no one's going to want to talk to
Yeah,
you. So this is supposed to be a happy family
yeah.
time. So indulge, but in small amounts and less frequently.
Actually, one way, not one way, one little yardstick for that is people should not be able to tell that you are like restricting yourself or something like that. I mean, it should be just like, yeah, I mean, this is good enough for me, kind of a thing. It should not be like, oh my God, I wish I could eat it, but you guys go ahead and eat it, kind of a thing. That's
Yeah.
therein
You should
lies
go
the
in with a good attitude.
yeah, go
A
in with a good
positive
positive
attitude.
attitude and say, yeah, okay, fine. There are 15 jalebis there. I'll just have two.
Right. And kind of along the same lines, another tip is have it, but have a couple bites.
Yeah,
So a lot of times, if any of you have watched any of our videos, you know how much I love baking. So I bake for my family or for our patients or for whomever, and I literally allow myself to have one or two bites. So I get that flavor and I don't feel like I've missed any out on anything, but I also am not having a full serving.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and what Ajoy does a lot of times is he will, if someone else orders it,
yeah.
he will just take a bite. So that way you don't feel compelled to
Yeah.
finish the entire thing, but you can always share off of a loved one's
That's
plate.
right, and it works because
It's a little annoying, but otherwise,
it's
okay.
still annoying for the person that I'm taking the food from.
Yes.
But
But it works out well for
for
you.
me, it works out great because I mean I've just taken a little bit, and then it's a pain to go reach out to that person's plate again
Right. You
to
feel
yeah,
like it might be rude.
yeah, rude, guilty, whatever. So
Yeah.
that's a little trick that I employ. And
Often.
often, and it works. One of the thing is, a lot of times this is a human nature, maybe particularly in our community, we eat and then we say, okay, you know what,
Nap time.
nap time. So try to avoid that. Like I think we've already discussed about, making some activity out of it and
Not a group nap.
not a group nap, maybe a group group walk instead, right?
Or a game, like
Yeah.
a board, even if you're not doing physical exercise, something so you stay awake.
Yeah.
Listen to music,
Yeah.
play a game, or if you need to do some other kind of work,
Yeah.
do
Keep
it
yourself-
right after eating
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you stay awake.
Yeah.
Because inevitably that post-eating low, which everyone gets, will pass
Yeah.
after a while.
And so, okay, you finish the party or whatever, and you were at somebody's place, and it happened to us recently, right? I mean, they said, "Oh, take leftovers," and there were like lots and lots of goodies.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what did we do? What did we do?
We picked out the healthiest.
Yes, and then we left before
We left before they could continue to insist that we take the sweets.
Yeah, because
they did insist.
Yeah, we would have.
And it
taken
was good, and we would have taken them. But yes, so try not to, if it's there at the party or the restaurant, just give it to somebody else. Let someone else take it home. Offer it to others. Be kind and generous.
Yeah, be kind and generous. And before you realize it, somebody's already taken it and you're left with nothing and you're like, oh, it's gone now.
And kind of on the same lines, if you're cooking up a storm, sweets and goodies and fried foods, etc., for a festival, make sure you invite a lot of people over.
Yeah.
So it's not just your immediate family eating massive amounts of food, because obviously that is not ideal. So
divide it and conquer.
Share the love.
Divide and conquer like the British did.
And I know I just mentioned fried foods and sweets, but I think we kind of mentioned this earlier. Try to eat more fruits and vegetables in addition to everything else, meaning, or in place of, ideally, really, not in addition, in place of. So, if you have a plate of food, we've said this multiple times, at least half your plate should be fruits and vegetables. especially if you have leafy greens and starchy vegetables, that's perfect. And then it should be a plant-based protein, obviously your fluids, which is hopefully mostly water. And then a very small part of your plate should be the treat, whether it's savory or sweet. So that rings true all the time, but particularly during festival season.
Yeah.
So I guess it's probably a good time to move on to part two. I think we still have a little bit to get through.
Yeah, I think
actually a lot to get through.
Yeah, I think we've gone through like 8 or 9 so far, but I think
at least, So we're about halfway
through.
My
last count is like 20 something, but we're hoping that these tips will help you. Even if you don't remember all of them, at least if some of them stick, great. If they don't, you go back and listen to it again and say, we had...
Right, and you certainly don't have to follow all of these tips.
Obviously,
these are all things that we've tried and are tried and true.
Easier to kind of,
incorporate into your daily life. Yeah. So hopefully it'll work for you, and we have more exciting tips coming up in part 2.
Thank you.
Ciao. We really hope you enjoyed our conversation. Can you think about one thing or an idea that you can start to introduce into your own life that will help make your life healthier and less stressful?
If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd really appreciate it if you can take a few seconds to share the podcast with your friends and family. Thank you so much for listening.
And always remember, your health is literally in your own hands. Making lifestyle changes is not an easy task, but we promise you will be aptly rewarded with a long, healthy, and disease-free life.